Hey guys, Rhett here. What's going on? Thanks for watching. I want to talk today about something that's kind of pissing me off a little bit, and my clients will laugh because they know how direct I am about virtually everything, and I'm sure a lot of you guys on the channel know that I am too. But I've been having a lot of conversations lately about how to build your Section 8 portfolio. And I work with tons of clients who come from totally different backgrounds and different parts of the world, whether you're domestic or international, whether you come to me with 100 units or zero, no real estate experience and no rental properties, or 30, 40 years of real estate experience and large portfolios. The biggest thing that is bothering me right now is the idea and the shaming of doing things the old-fashioned way. And my clients will be the first ones to tell you, I am not the biggest fan of creative financing, seller financing, purchasing tax liens and tax deeds. I don't love that stuff. And I talk about why. The scalability of it is extremely slow. Real estate's supposed to be passive. You're not supposed to be on the phone making hundreds of hours and hundreds of phone calls trying to get sellers to sell their properties to you. Yeah, if you can find good deals, then amazing. Maybe you do, a needle in a haystack. But then when you want to build and grow and scale, you're going to do that 100 times to get 100 properties. It's going to take you 60 years. So we do things more old-fashioned around here. And for some reason, there is the stigma that creative financing, seller financing, subject to, these are the only ways to do things. And the reality is that's a huge crock of BS. Used cash have absolutely blown out of the water clients of mine who want to go into the seller financing and creative financing route. When I say blown out of the water, I mean have literally like 5 to 10 times more properties in the same time span, like absurd. And for some reason it gets shamed, which I don't understand. I built my entire portfolio on the Burr method and conventional financing. A lot of private lending options that are available now weren't available to me 10 years ago when I started, and because they're available now, we're using the crap out of them. We're using them all. A lot of private lending options that are available now weren't available to me 10 years ago when I started, and because they're available now, we're using the crap out of them. We're using them all. Of them, 99% of them are through conventional lending and private lending. And then people call me and go, Rhett, well, everyone's talking that, that's not the right way to go. You should do seller finance, creative finance. For some people, sure. But there's no faster way to grow your portfolio. Zero. There's none. Outside of using cash, the fastest way to grow your portfolios is without question by using conventional and private financing. Not even a question. Because you can go to it anytime. It's if you buy a home with seller financing and you get it, say you're able to find a home where a seller's willing to do it, you're able to get into a deal that's actually good for you, and you made tons of cold calls to find it, you did all your due diligence, you worked through the contract, and you did all of that, and you finally get a unit on board. Okay, now you get a tenant in there, now you got to do it again. It's just not really the most feasible option. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this are like, yeah, I'm reaching out to sellers all the time and everyone's telling me, no, I don't want to do that. Or I'm making phone calls all the time. And frankly, when I get home from work at 5 o'clock, I don't want to be on the phone for 5 hours. I want to sit down with my family. Yeah, of course. That's exactly why we do this. Guys, this is about building wealth over a long period of time. Another thing that's kind of pissing me off is the need or the stigma that you need 20, 50, 100 properties in your portfolio to be relevant. And that's just ridiculous. If I took you and you have one rental property and I put you in a room with 100 other people your age, and I said, how many people in here own a rental property? I guarantee you under 10% of the people, under 10 people are going to raise their hand. Maybe even under 5 people. 1 property is incredible. 5 properties is amazing. 2 properties, insane. Right? Don't allow social media, don't allow all these different people that you see, don't let them affect the value that is in having 1 rental or 2 rentals or 3 rentals or 4. You guys are putting yourself in such an amazing position just by getting 1. You have more than so many other people. Don't let that stuff affect you, okay? Going off of that, Another issue that I have, I know, I got a lot of issues. I know, I hear it all the time. But it's not a race. And what I mean by that is, if you've saved up your capital, and you guys know how long it takes and how hard it is to save money, especially when we're in a world that everything is unbelievably expensive. You can't even take a plane flight anymore for under $500, it feels like. So when we take our money and we take our hard-earned money, we want to use it in a way that is like a scalpel, right? We want to be very, very direct in what we do. We want to be very, very driven by attention to detail. We want to cross the T's. We want to dot the I's. Now, how do we do that? And then once we do that once, how do we replicate that over and over and over and over and over again? Well, it starts with one thing, and it starts with a proof of concept. So people call me all the time. They say, Rhett, I have $30,000 to spend. I want to buy 3 houses. And I'm like, okay, well, that's going to be a little tight, right? Being all into each house for $10,000, probably not. But I have a better idea. Why don't we do one house the right way? And then you have a proof of concept, and then you can use that proof of concept to then show it to other people to help you raise money. Or you can save more money and budget more money for this venture every single month to buy your second unit, because you now understand that this works. You have a proof of concept that you can now use to raise capital amongst other people. You have a proof of concept that now has given you confidence in yourself and the investing that you do to now put more money into, and then to drive more capital to buy more units, okay? And that's extremely important. Building that unit the right way is the most important part of this entire thing. Now, how do you build it? Well, you guys hear it all the time. You need to do the first one right, because you're building a foundation. If your foundation stinks, the more you build on top of it, your house is going to fall down, right? Just like building a skyscraper. If the foundation's not strong, it doesn't matter. You're going to get to a certain point where the whole thing's going to tumble. So it's about building a foundation. How do you build a foundation? I'm beating a dead horse here. You guys know what I'm going to say. You need to have a good team, right? You need your realtors that you trust. You need your contractors, your management companies, your lenders, your insurance companies, people that specialize in all of this stuff. There are not a lot of people that specialize in Section 8. You talk to management companies all over the country and you say, hey, do you guys do Section 8? I guarantee you 75% of them are going to say, no, we don't. They don't want to deal with it. And the ones that tell you that they do, they probably don't do much of it. So it's extremely important to have the contractors that go into these units that understand, okay, Section 8, this is a Section 8 unit. We need to make sure that all this stuff is to Section 8 code. All this stuff is built to Section 8 specifications. We need to make sure that when we're budgeting this rehab, we don't overspend. This isn't an HGTV flip, right? So we're not putting in designer light fixtures. We're not putting in designer doorknobs and hardware on cabinets. We're putting stuff in there that's nice, that's durable, and it's going to cut down on maintenance costs over the next 20 years for us, right? So this is all a science, and I've talked about that before on the channel as well. But the proof of concept in that first unit is so, so important. And I promise you, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose money. You have to do this with the right team. 100%. If you don't have a team, you want to use my team, send me an email in the description below. We are going to get you started, and we're going to get you on the right path so you can build that proof of concept to then grow from. I don't care if you have $10 million to spend. We're not spending it all in one place. Build the proof of concept. Yes, you like it, you love it, it cash flows, it actually works. Then spend whatever you want to spend. Then go on a spree. Buy 10 properties, buy 50 properties, buy whatever you want. The first one needs to be a success. And that's something I talk to my clients about all the time who come to me and they say, Rhett, here's my capital. I want to buy 10 units. Okay, let's start with one and do it the right way. Then I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, well, what about multifamily? Why are we doing single family? And single family and multifamily are two totally different beasts. And I usually don't have a lot of first-time real estate investors, first-time out-of-state investors in Section 8 buy multifamily property. There's a couple reasons why. So with Section 8, you guys understand that you're getting paid per bedroom. Okay. Single family homes, most homes that we're going to buy, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, right? The more bedrooms you're getting more money for. With apartment buildings, your average unit size is 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom. If you can bring me an apartment complex where your average apartment unit size is 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms, I'll buy it because there aren't many out there. So if we're getting paid per bedroom, we're getting more money per door on single family homes than apartment buildings. But people are going to say, well, Rhett, yes, if you're judging it on a per door basis, well, if you do a 10-unit apartment building and you're getting $800 per door of the apartment building and it's costing you $40,000 per door, then you're making a great return. And that's true. But the thing is, when you do apartment buildings, when you look to see what Section 8 will pay you for a 2-bedroom home, that is not the same number that they're going to pay you for a 2-bedroom apartment building. Because a 2-bedroom home might be 1,000 square feet, 800 square feet. A 2-bedroom apartment building might only be 500 square feet, 650 square feet. That is going to play into the amount of rent that you get for that unit. Okay. The second thing is when we're talking about apartment buildings, I only have my clients buy apartment buildings when there's significant value adds. I did a video with a client of mine, Brandon, where he bought an apartment building for $475,000 about 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be worth close to $900,000 when he's done with it. So that is an example where home run out of the park. But when we buy these apartment buildings, let's talk about the demographics of who we're putting in them. So single family home, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. Who are we putting in there? Most of the time, we're putting people in there who are families, right? Family-oriented people, they have their own space and they have their own home. Apartment buildings, you have, say, 10 units, half are 2 bedrooms, half are 1 bedrooms, and they're small. So you have a lot of people in a tight space. And you have people who are older. You have people who are single. A lot of those, of course, 1 bedrooms. There's a lot of single people, and it's not always the best combination. So you can run into a lot more issues with that kind of asset class in Section 8, more so than the single family route. When you put a lot of people together who are single, they don't have the big families, they don't have people relying on them as much, things can go a little bit sideways. So you have to understand what kind of tenants you're putting in those multifamily units, and that's extremely, extremely important, and that comes with a lot of time, and that comes with property management companies who know exactly what kind of tenants to put in. There's a lot of really, really hands-on attention that apartment buildings need from a property management standpoint, because you're taking people and you're saying, okay, how are these people going to mix together with a family? Obviously you don't have to do that in a single family home. But with apartment buildings, it's so much deeper than that. You have to say, okay, how's this person going to interact with this person? Okay, is that going to be a problem? Is there going to be altercations between these people? Are there going to be fights? You don't need that headache. We're trying to make money, right? So single family is the way to go. It's less moving parts. It's way less vacancy. The turnover rates in multifamily is a lot higher than single family as well. The reason for that is also because with single family homes, you guys know on the channel, I have my clients try and buy homes that are going to be the epicenter of families. So you create a living environment for people that is conducive to family gatherings, Thanksgivings, and Christmases. And what happens is people in that family, they try to keep that Section 8 home in the family. We have a ton of that where someone might pass away and then their daughter will take over that home. Or someone will move and then a family member will move in. We already have a history with them and they have a history with the home. That does not happen in apartment buildings. So there's a lot higher turnover, and the more turnover we have, the more it hurts our pocket. But the last thing I want to talk about as it relates to apartment building, multifamily, or multifamily in general, to single family homes is this. And say we have that same 10-unit apartment building and then we have 10 single family homes, okay? Let's talk about the exit strategy on that. So if you sell your 10, so you guys say you have your Section 8 portfolio for 20 years, you're ready to retire, and you want to sell and you want to grab your couple $1,000,000. Well, in option number 1, we have our 10 single family homes. Each single family home is worth $200,000. Amazing. You bought them all for 80, 20 years later, they're worth 200. It's pretty easy selling a $200,000 home where the rent's guaranteed every single month, and you can sell them individually to 10 people individually who can afford to spend $200,000 on one home. Now think about these numbers 20 years from now, right? It's the equivalent of 80 or 100,000 right now. You can buy a house that's 100,000. So you buy it. It's got a Section 8 tenant. 20 years in the future, Section 8 vouchers are probably going to be $3,000 a month, $3,500 a month. So the return's going to be amazing. But you can sell them. There's an exit there. right? You're selling to a large buyer pool over here. Let's talk about the apartment building that you want to sell for $2 million. Same revenue, right? 10 houses at 200,000 or one apartment building for 2 million. Your buyer pool for a $2 million apartment building is a whole heck of a lot smaller than what your buyer pool is going to be for a $200,000 house. You can sell to any mom and pop who want to get their rental portfolio started with one single family home. But who are you selling that $2 million apartment complex to? You're selling it to people who are big investors. You're selling it to private equity. You're selling it to investors who are very wealthy. They're going to beat you up. And the rate environment is going to have a drastic effect on what you're able to sell that property for. Because the difference being, guys, and we're getting pretty high level here, okay? When you have single family homes, you sell a single family home based on its comparables, right? Its comps. That's where you get the price to sell single family homes. With apartment buildings, you get the sale price based on a cap rate. So you sell them on a cap basis. The cap is based on the NOI, or the net operating income, of the asset. Cap rates and caps fluctuate. So apartment buildings, when they sell at cap, it depends on what the rate environment looks like. And what I mean by that is when rates are lower, you can sell apartment buildings for more money. The reason being, the money is less expensive. So the mortgages are less, meaning you can make more money on that apartment building when you buy it, right? Because your debt service is less because the interest is lower. When the rates are higher, you need to sell your apartment building for less money, because if you don't, the person buying it isn't going to make any money because the rates are so high, the interest is so high, they're not going to be able to cash flow it. So your ability to sell that apartment complex is going to be directly correlated to the rate environment. So say you bought an apartment building 20 years ago and you're trying to sell it right now. Well, the rates are so high, you're going to have to take a huge haircut on the sale price, because in order to make it profitable for somebody, instead of selling it for $2 million at a 6 cap or a 5 cap, you have to sell it at an 8 cap or a 9 cap. That's going to kill your pocket. So there's a lot more maneuverability and optionality when we buy single families. I don't care about what people say out there. I'm telling you from experience, it's not about the number of doors you own. I would rather you own 5 homes that are cash cows, operate flawlessly, very minimal maintenance, great tenants who take care of the unit and net you a really, really good amount of money, than have 10 units where you're having some maintenance issues, you have some tenants that are kind of a pain in the butt, you bought them just to buy them, you're tight on cash, you overspent on them. It's not about the number of doors. It's about the quality of doors, and it's about the quality of unit and the cash flow. I would rather less houses that cash flow more than more houses that cash flow the same, to be honest with you. Okay? So, moral of the story, don't get distracted. Don't listen to all of the noise. Don't listen to it. Focus on one unit at a time. And I promise you, if you're like, I want to get to 100 units, we're not going to buy one unit at a time 100 times. We're going to buy that first one, that proof of concept, then we're going to buy another one, then we're going to buy another one, then we're going to buy 2, then we're going to buy 4, then we're going to buy 7, then we're going to buy 20. And you're going to get to 40 units like that, okay? But it's about doing it right. It's about maintaining a progression and a system that you understand and that you know how to operate. And if you need help with those systems, guys, send me an email. We'll get you started. We'll see you next time.